Hi everyone, I am Kate Lazari from Misericordia University in Pennsylvania, and I looked at the effects of invasional meltdown on community structure and marine ecosystems in the Damariscotta estuary of Maine. My poster is available for download in my booth. I analyzed the impact of invasive species in marine ecosystems, along with evaluating the effects of invasional meltdown. A basobiont is an organism that provides a surface for apibiont organisms to reside on. And the establishment of an invasive species can lead to more invasive species recruitment, and that is what's known as invasional meltdown. My research questions were, does the invasion status of the basobiont alter the frequency of invasive epibiont settling? Along with, are there any differences in epibiont diversity on native and invasive basobionts? My null is that there will be no significant difference in the frequency of invasive epibiont settlement or in the diversity of epibionts on invasive and native basobionts. So samples were taken from floating docks in Maine. There were 3 sites with 15 and 20 samples taken from each. And a sample consisted of 1 basobiont along with the accompanying epibionts. And these species were classified and the invasion status was determined. This is a map of the Damariscotta estuary showing the 3 different floating docks that were used. And my data was analyzed using RStudio, which t-tests and chi-square analysis were performed. The results of my t-test showed way more biodiversity on native basobionts compared to invasive. While the results of my chi-square analysis showed equal numbers of invasive and native epibionts on native basobionts, where the invasive basobionts had way more invasive epibionts on them. The t-test showed that species diversity of epibionts on native basobionts was very significantly higher, while the chi-square analysis showed no significant difference between observed and expected proportion of the native and invasive epibionts on both the native and invasive basobionts. The conclusions reached were we rejected the null that there will be no difference in the diversity of epibionts on invasive and native species. And we failed to reject the null that there will be no significant difference in the frequency of invasive epibiont settlement on invasive and native basobionts. The data ultimately suggests that invasive basobionts inhabiting a given area can result in less biodiversity. And thank you to the Misericordia Student Research Grant Committee for funding my research. And this is just a list of my references. Thank you for stopping by.